It says, what are the biggest advantages or disadvantages to your current curriculum for preparing students to engage with a globalizing world?
Okay, so we have essentially the same curriculum that you would find in an American school, and we bill ourselves as an American school, so that's not too surprising, I guess. There are some subtle differences, like in history, we don't have a U.S. history course. We have world history. But there's not a whole lot of difference. So what is preparing students maybe for life in a global world in a more globalized world would be just the fact that there's students from 40 different countries and not too many from any one language group, that the students are already networking for future life here in high school.
Yeah.
And actually the students that do come to us, it's mostly third culture kids who have been around a lot and have a lot of resources.
Yeah.
So in some ways they're sort of already globalized before they come to us.
That makes sense. Thank you. And as far as your curriculum goes, how do you embed 21st century skills into your current curriculum?
So assuming those skills are things like collaboration and what we would usually call soft skills, perhaps, I would say we don't embed them intentionally at all. They are just lucky when those things come up, depending on the teacher, probably.
Okay.
It's not something that we stress a lot.
Okay.
But as far as some of the types of classes that go along with thinking 21st century, we do have some entrepreneurial and STEAM and some other courses that are trying to they're directly trying to focus on skills instead of content. So
okay.
I think that's largely in the program that I run, which is 8th grade through 12th grade. The courses are called EDGE. They're non-graded, and they do have like their main goals is in an acronym, which is collaboration, uplift, imagination, respect, and effort. Those are probably as close as we get.
Nice. Oh, sounds lovely. Thank you. If I can move on to instruction, what approach, in your opinion, do you find useful for introducing 21st century concepts to students, like direct instruction, hands-on, relating to real life, outdoor, etc.?
Yeah, I prefer when the instruction is given as much as possible to the students. So not direct instruction. There's a place for that, but if students are going to get better at soft skills, they have to be practicing the soft skills. So the teacher really needs to back off, I guess, or turn down the volume, or spend some time side by side. Today I had a class. It took half of the class to an event that another class was putting on, and I left half of the class on their own for an hour and a half just to work, and I didn't give them any particular instruction about what to do. I think they probably waste some of that time, but it's not really wasted because they are working on those kinds of skills.
Absolutely, and completely understandable.
Yeah.
How do you ensure learning across like all sections of students?
I think it's left to the fact that they all are placed in a class and a set of classes, and then the assumption is that they're learning something no matter where they are.
Thank you. If I could move on to assessment, what, in your opinion, what is the proper way to assess students in a 21st century school?
I guess my pet phrase would be high frequency, low like low threat assessment, right? So that assessing is just a normal part of when you're working on anything, that you're reflecting on what you're doing and changing and adjusting as you go. definitely not waiting until the end of a unit and then having one large test that the students can't go back in and correct.
Mm.
Ongoing formative assessment that doesn't need a summative probably. In my own programs, I prefer that they're ungraded.
All right. Moving forward to resources, do you feel as though the professional development opportunities offered help you in becoming a better educator?
Not this year. It's been a mess. But that's COVID. I'm in charge of significant portion of our professional development here, so it'd be funny to say no. But like professional development opportunities range from teachers getting sent somewhere to go learn about IB, probably their subject area. I haven't been in a subject area IB training, so I don't know what is actually taken out of that. I've been at some, I guess that's one of the things we do, right? Or people choose a conference to go to.
That's good.
The part that I lead is in-house action research. So
Nice.
sort of like the final projects in this course. Teachers are encouraged to explore some topic that they're interested in and get into that action research cycle of doing, reflecting, adjusting, redoing, and so on. I think that can be pretty powerful. It's not used by everybody. So there are gung-ho teachers who will do that, and then others who really can't be bothered.
Great. And how much value do you place on professional development opportunities in order to prepare students for a global world?
Let's see. There's a couple of connections there. So professional development with teachers so that teachers are more ready to work with students, and in particular students in a more globalized world. I don't think that I make that final connection, actually. I think we do professional development for teachers that we think is helpful. We probably don't ask students enough what would actually be helpful. And then we assume, more or less, that what we've done for professional development will be good for students. And I don't know if we track that back very good either. I think it's actually quite hard to know if your professional development has had an impact on like student achievement or something. And I can't place my finger on, well, that's not true. That like we've done professional development in particular instructional approaches that are, that one would say align with 21st century skills. But it's not for all teachers, it's for those who happen to want to do that. And maybe our biggest impact on 21st century skills is again the content of classes. So the classes that we're teaching that are focusing specifically on skills, those groups of teachers do get together or work on one of these action research projects related to that teaching. So it's not very consistent, but we do touch on it sometimes by chance, maybe sometimes by design.
Thank you. And just a couple more questions. International mindedness, like how do you define international mindedness in the context of international education?
I don't have a definition. International mindedness. I don't think I can come up with one on the spot either. I'd have to like think about it, but I don't think I have one. I don't think the school has one actually.
Oh.
Let me ask my daughter who's over here at the table. Hey, Emma, do you think that LAS has a definition for international mindedness? She says no. I mean, I don't think either of us could put our finger on something that's actually like an LAS endorsed definition of international mindedness. I think.
The mission statement, focus statement.
Yeah, mission statement would be developing compassionate, innovative, responsible citizens of the world. But it's not really saying what international mindedness is. I think there'll be many schools that don't really have a definition for that.
Oh,
Just like many schools don't have a definition for learning. Like you go ask your colleagues later today, what is the definition of learning for our school? They're going to look at you like, what definition of learning?
understandable. And just one more, Paul. What programs and activities do we have in place, or your school has in place, to help students transition from an international state of mind if they've never attended international school or have never even been assimilated into that environment? Do you have any programs to help the students if they've never been an international student?
Programs not so much. I think maybe a big part of that is handled with residential life, since we're a boarding school.
Oh,
So the fact that students are living together and interacting together in the residence halls, that's probably where the biggest opportunity is to discuss cultural differences and so on in a more casual, less academic environment. So I would guess that the residential life program is sort of carrying the load for that. But again, I don't think it's by curricular design. I think it's just where the discussions happen.
and it's a boarding school, like you said, so they have a chance to be with their peers more, unlike a traditional school where they would go to school, see their friends, and then go back home. So, and I'm sure with a boarding school, you don't really need that.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know, but they get big doses of what it is to be international. I remember from our summer program talking to someone who said he lived here in town and he sent his daughter to the summer program, and he said for his daughter, it just reinforced all the stereotypes of people from different places.
Oh, really?
So it went the wrong way in his.
Yes.
That's the summer program, and it was probably only 2 weeks long. During the year, you would think that there's quite a bit of understanding that's developed between cultures as they're interacting, as the kids are interacting. The school intentionally doesn't put students from similar language backgrounds and country backgrounds in the same room as roommates.
Oh, good.
That's
definitely a good idea.
That's an intentional piece to try to promote that. Students go in batches, they'll sit with different, with similar language groups in the cafeteria and so on. They tend to hang out a little bit by culture, but not all the time.
But one thing set in place is that they intentionally match them with someone who's not of the same culture and language, so that's good.
That's something, and that's intentional, yeah. But that's the Res Life program that's covering it.
Okay. Well, thank you, Paul, for meeting with me today.